Hi everyone, welcome to day 8 of Web Development Basics training by First Creative Studio and our third class in CSS. So we're going to dive straight in. Today we're looking at padding, the box model, text and fonts. So it's going to be quite a short class. So this is our normal page. Let's run it to see what we have. Okay, this is a normal page. What happens when we put padding? Now if you remember yesterday, I said if you're putting just one, that means you're saying both the top, the left, the right and the bottom should all be 50 px. So the same applies to padding. So let's see what happens when I put padding. Have I saved it? Let me save. Refresh. Now this is padding in action. Padding creates space around your element or your content, and it's in between content then border, while the margin creates space between border and the rest of the page. Here's a diagram that explains it a little bit better, I believe. So this is your div, your list items, your paragraphs, your links, everything are within content. Please note that content, this doesn't refer to body. Okay, this is your individual content on the page. So you write your content. If you put padding, you're putting the space between the content and the border. Border is that line and it's in between padding and margin. Margin is now the space between border and the rest of the page. Okay, so now that that is settled, this is also the box model that if you had looked through, you'd have seen that I said I was going to discuss today. So we're done with this too. Let's move to text. Now text, especially because of us dealing with links, we have already come across text decoration none, and in us trying to center something, we have come across text align center. But that's not all we can do with text, and also center is not the only way to align a text. You can align it to the right, you can align it to the left, and you can justify it. Now justify keeps an equal space between the lines and everything within the sentences. So justify. So this is what justify looks like. Yeah, let's still justify. So next we are looking at text decoration. I want us to use what we already know to learn some more things. Now text decoration, remember we removed this from underline and specified that decoration should be none. Yes, you can also decide to underline, and to do that you just come here and type underline. Save. We underlined our link. This is it. Now you can also do overline. And you can do line through. Yeah, so basically those are things you can other things you can do with text. And for us to specify a little bit more, let's use this. You can transform the text. You can make it, let's use text transform. You can specify whether everything should be uppercase, lowercase, or even if you want to capitalize every word in that line. So this is it. So let's see what happens when I refresh. It's an uppercase. Now what happens when I capitalize? Capitalized every word. Now also you can put it in lowercase. Another thing we can use text to do if we want to manipulate our text is to space our letters using letter spacing, and we can also space our word. So this is in pixels too. This is in pixels too. Now you can either put minus or just leave it the way it is. You can write 3 or -3. Minus when you want to reduce the spacing, while the normal one, same thing with our plus in mass, is when you want to increase. So I increase the spacing between the letters and reduce the spacing between the words. So that's our text. Now let's move to our words. Sorry, fonts. Now fonts. Okay, let's come here. Fonts, we have some things that are called, we have generic families, which basically affects or tell us how in general form those texts are going to appear. Now our default form is Times New Roman. How do I know? Times New Roman looks like this, and also you can test it out. Times New Roman is also a sans serif. Sorry, also a serif. When I say serif, it has all these sharp edges. All this. Here, 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 here. Look at the 3, look at the S. It has sharp edges. If you want to test out whether it's in Times New Roman, you can use the Times New Roman family. But we want to put it in something else. This, which is want to put it in Arial. Font family is how we specify font. Arial. Helvetica. The second one we type is more like if the browser doesn't recognize this name, it will recognize the other one. Then the sans serif, which we're typing, is simply to say that this is the format in which it appears. So this is our normal way it appeared. What happens when we refresh? It becomes different, and you don't see any sharp edges on this one. This is how sans serifs look like. Now remember when I said that it was the same thing as Times Roman, that our default is in Times Roman? Let me prove it to you. Serif. And also I want to use Times New Roman as an example. Now when you're typing a font family that is more than one, you always put it in double quotes. I'm sorry. This is serif. Save. Yep, and and we're back to the previous font that was there. So that's all we're learning today. At the end of the class on WhatsApp, I will send a link to that shows different kind of fonts, so you can easily find one to copy. That's if you want to use a different font. Now to assignments. Assignments, we have to create 2 divs, and in div 1 you have to that div should have a margin, border, and the text in div 1 should be aligned to the left. Div 2 is similar, but div 2 has a margin, a border, and padding. And in this case, div 2 is aligned to the right, and you have to add a font family to div 2, preferably not Times New Roman, so we can set the difference. You can use the previous one I used. So that's all for today. You can see it's a very short class. So that's all for today. All the best with your assignment. Bye.